Elon Musk's courage, and it's true, I'm saying, has broken the back of the globalists. They'll never be able to turn this around again unless they have a nuclear war. Elon Musk has broken their back.
It simply is the humanistic view against the death cult view.
So we need to go with the Elon Musk plan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elon Musk.
Alex nailed it. Elon is taking the biggest risk here. It takes unlimited energy to propagate lies. You have to continually repeat them, and you have to continue to try and falsify information and hide the truth to keep lies afloat.
Many, by Tesla. Many no, by Tesla no.
When I saw you 6 months ago at the World Government Summit, where they're all saying we're going to make everybody eat bugs and we'll make the decisions to put microchips in them, and you said, we don't want a centralized system. We want a diverse system. We want firewalls.
I'm super pro-human, like for Team Humanity here, and
Many.
I mean, at this point, reading the sort of legacy media is just depressing. I accidentally, once in a while, will go see like Google News or whatever, or Yahoo News or whatever, some random thing, and I'm like, this is just. I mean, frankly, the quality of the propaganda isn't even good. Look, if you're going to do propaganda, at least make it entertaining. And I find it's dull, boring. It's and just not even well written.
When I saw this collaboration of people speaking, I knew I had to cover this. Because I knew exactly how far they were going to go, how far they weren't going to go, and what perspectives they were going to come from.
Well, that's right. They'll put out one thing and then they all parrot it. It's a dog.
It's like lazy propaganda. It's like work harder.
Because you have Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, and Elon Musk. So you basically represent the Republicans, the conspiracy theorists, and the establishment. And this is a really good opportunity to break down the example of how Elon Musk and Alex Jones and Andrew Tate are all the establishment. The establishment is no different than the group of people who are pushing this world order. And these individuals represent communities who are supposed to make you or the masses believe that there's a difference, that there's an in-between.
How are you? Yeah, I'm good, friend. I'm in the middle of a poker game, but since this is the battle for humanity against the Satanists with its constant deception of the populace, I thought I would jump in and say hello to everybody.
There is a very recognizable difference between those who think that this system is a civilization that is collapsing and those who realize that this was never a civilization to begin with.
We've been in a period of civilization rising very rapidly, but we should be concerned that we may be cresting, we may subside. And there are many times where I get late stage civilization vibes, and I'm just worried that maybe we're cresting as a civilization and have set it for a fall.
This is the gap between those who think for themselves critically and those who do not. Because the ones who are caught in between in these various communities of the Andrew Tates, the Republicans, the conspiracy theorists, and Alex Jones and Elon Musk and whatever the hell else he's trying to push out there, the space cadets.
And I say we grow, and I say we expand, and we have more humans, and we become a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization, and ultimately be out there among the stars. And I think that is the exciting, inspiring thing for the future.
They're going to try to convince you that there's something to be saved here, that there was a civilization, that there is a civilization that could be saved, that there are still good people. This is what Elon Musk represents. There's still good people in the system fighting.
I'd rather hear his thoughts on Elon Musk being the biggest maverick of the last 500 years. I'm not kissing ass here. Elon, you've got big ones, man, on every front. You are literally overturning the entire power structure. I was just going to say this and let Andrew get in, but I just want to say this while you're here. I mean, you are literally changing the entire paradigm, and you've definitely got the system scared. And so everybody needs to support X. Everybody needs to support the sponsors on X. I personally am doing all my Christmas shopping this year with all the great gadgets and stuff that are on X. But I'm going to shut up now. But I would imagine instead of talking about Alex Jones, I'd like to hear Andrew Tate talk about or ask questions to Elon Musk.
Team Humanity. Andrew Tate talking about his Republican beliefs and how he's doing his due diligence by having more babies and making sure that he catches up to Elon Musk. And
something that is really important is like You just literally have to have kids, or there's no next generation. Alex, do you have kids?
Yes, I do. I'm not as prolific as you, but I wish I was. They're the best thing in my life. I have 4.
Okay, great. And Andrew?
I do a few. I won't let you down, Elon. I'm coming.
Okay,
I'm coming
good.
to take over your title. I'm coming to take over. I'm doing my best. You know, I got to use my good looks for something.
Well, I think we ought to encourage people to have kids.
What fucking values do these people stand for? They represent nothing but themselves. Every single one of them is selling something. They want something back in that in-between so-called civilization that they're trying to save. They want something back. And once again, I'll bring this issue up again because I've been saying it from the get-go. It's happened in the Flat Earth community, happened in the New Age community, happened in every other community that's out there being pushed by the system and by the little systems. What do you see once again? The echo chamber of caucasity.
Team Human. Let's go.
And that would absolutely that would be certainly.
Why do they never reach out to us to hear our perspectives from our communities? Because they know as soon as we start speaking from the perspective of our community, it will cut through their narratives like a hot knife through fucking butter. They do not know how to handle that. So they will stay in their team humanity fucking bubble, echo chamber of narcissism. Because that's what it is. It's gaslighting. Making you believe that nothing is happening. Making you believe that whatever your experience is, what you're experiencing in this situation, which is a hell of a lot different than what they're experiencing. People down in West Oakland are experiencing something way fucking different than Elon Musk in Silicon Valley and Andrew Tate, where the fuck he is, driving around his Ferrari.
And they said to me, why do you take up this fight? Why you don't just delete your Twitter and disappear and drive a Ferrari all day?
And Alex Jones with all his fucking bullshit and connections in the government. There are universes of differences between us and them. Yet they want to convince you that there is another us. This human us. Which is exactly what this establishment is trying to portray in their New World program.
And once you see that it's extinctionists versus the pro-humans, then it becomes very clear.
So are they trying to create a system that is also human? How many of them and their followers are going to jump ship and jump on the side of the establishment as soon as it starts talking this, we're all one, we're all human, we have to come together and start providing for the world of humans under a one world government? How many of their followers are going to immediately jump over there because they are just tired of the bullshit? It's going to be the majority, which is exactly what this system wants, because it knows how people think, how people act. They just follow people. And they know if they didn't have controllers in the middle of the establishment and the far out groups that are way beyond left and right, the ones that are thinking for themselves in their own critical thought processes, analyzing the situation from every healthy angle instead of just blindly following. They know that there are people out there like us who don't claim to have all the answers, but have enough questions to debunk the bullshit that is out there.
I'm super pro-human, like for Team Humanity here, and I just think we want to make sure that people have a positive view of the future. And I think I encounter a lot of people who have actually very pessimistic conclusions about the future.
And if we have answers to those questions that confirm that bullshit in that world, then we have another place to step, another move. Then we have another angle of approach to observe these various groups and communities. Elon Musk is not going to pull back from that space shit. That is his world.
And I say we grow, and I say we expand, and we have more humans, and we become a multi-planet species in a spacefaring civilization, and ultimately be out there among the stars. And I think that is the exciting, inspiring thing for the future.
People who are supporting him are supporting that illusion. People are following him, looking up to him, talking about him as if he's some kind of fucking savior next to the United Nations and the establishment.
Elon Musk's courage, and it's true, I'm saying, has broken the back of the globalists. They'll never be able to turn this around again unless they have a nuclear war. Elon Musk has broken their back.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. This is just like saying, well, I don't trust NASA, but I do trust SpaceX. It's ridiculous. So they'll push this mentality. They'll push this with fear again. They'll push this idea that there are people who are pro-civilization, like Elon Musk says in this video. We are pro-civilization. You don't want to end up like naked and afraid, as if that is fucking reality. As if those are our two choices. Either accept what this so-called civilization is doing to the world, or end up naked and afraid in the world.
I think it's just logical to be pro-civilization. You don't actually necessarily have to be altruistic. You just have to think long-term and say, obviously, you cannot exist in a good way without civilization. I mean, just watch one episode of Naked and Afraid and see how much you want to go live in a forest by yourself.
When it's coming from somebody like that, Elon Musk, who is basically a superhero to these people, that creates a truth, a fear, a deeply rooted fear that people who do not think for themselves will live with for the rest of their lives until something happens to fix it. Simply because this individual who represents a sense of intellectual authority to some degree, people will follow and listen to them and say, well, if they're living like that with that fear, then I am okay with living like that too. These individuals are generating new echo chambers that actually fit the definition of an echo chamber. You have to have power behind an echo chamber. You can't have like a little channel like mine and call it echo chamber. There's not enough movement behind it. But when you have on a giant platform like Elon Musk is providing for Andrew Tate and Alex Jones, an echo chamber that represents something. What a lot of people leave out of that definition of the echo chamber is that you have to have influence and you have to be threatened by other communities. For example, the representation of our people, our perspective, our history is nowhere to be found in their circles. If our perspective, our presence is even around their discussions, they will crumble immediately. They will ad hominem attack you. You will be swept under the rug of Team Humanity with the rest of the old garbage that they're saying is old garbage, which was the reason why they put Black Lives Matter out there, to have a talking point to ball you up within. Oh, you're one of those guys. You're a neoliberal. We're not talking about your neoliberal, neo-Republican, Team Humanity talking points. That shit only exists in your little illusory worlds. Just as they did in the civil rights movement with the women's lib. Women's liberation was installed into the so-called Black Power movement, the civil rights timeframe movement, so it could get in there, water it down, and kill all the movements that were in there unifying us. This Team Humanity is the women's lib of the new civil rights movement, the organic human rights movement, not their bullshit Republican-based, Elon Musk promoted, Alex Jones pushed Team Humanity movement. This is what they're doing. They say, hey, you guys are talking about stuff that's really important. You guys have been persecuted and wronged for how long? We've been wronged too. Hey, you know what we should do? We should call ourselves Team Humanity.
Team Human.
Let's go. And that would absolutely that would be certainly
nothing but white people. Not talking about the 9/10 of the world who have a voice, who they do not represent. And once again, just like this colonial establishment chooses to speak for us in their own echo chamber of self-aggrandizing bullshit. Andrew Tate sitting there talking about, I could just sit at home and drive around a Ferrari.
delete your Twitter and disappear and drive a Ferrari all day.
What the fuck is wrong with somebody who says that? I could be sitting at home driving around my Ferrari, but I choose to get out here and risk my life to speak for these people. I'm on Team Humanity with Alex Jones and Elon Musk. This is what we have to do. We have to have a lot of kids. We have to procreate. We have to represent masculinity. Get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck is gonna follow people like that? A lot of people. Because they don't have anybody else to follow. Which is the point. The extremes. Sell them the extremes. Put these extreme idiots out there. Extreme idiots. It's the same thing they do with the presidential elections. Put some giant piece of shit out there. Put somebody out there that's just under giant in the level of piece of shittery that's out there. Just put them out there, and then people will have the two choices between pieces of shit and larger pieces of shit. It's the same thing as the lesser of two evils. It's the same storyline. You control both of those sides, then you got everybody. This is what they're doing. They're just making another side. They're making it more complex against the villain of so-called neoliberalism or the New World Order or the whatever it is that they're calling the underground government. It's the same thing. As long as they're not including your perspective, your words, your presence in their discussions, it's just an expansion of the control measures that they already have in place. If they're too chicken shit to even listen to the perspectives that you bring to the table against their echo chamber of bullshit, then they are doing nothing less than exactly what that system wants them to do. And they sure as hell ain't doing anything more than that. And you just heard it again. This gets put out there all the time. The best things, the worst things that happen in the world are done with good intentions.
What I do believe is black and white is simply, if you read a history book, you'll see the worst things that humanity have ever done have been done with good intentions. That's what's so bad about evil acts, is that people
Road
think
to
they're
hell.
doing the right thing. And that's the most dangerous thing about it.
Who the fuck's saying these colonialists had good intentions when they were doing what they were doing? See, if you're not on that group chat with them, if your perspective is not present with them, then they can say dumb shit like that in order to push their perspective. Because you're not there to represent yourself. Here they are speaking about the travesties of the world that these individuals did and commit. The crimes that they committed were all with good intentions. No, the fuck they were not. They never had good intentions. That statement is bullshit. And it's only stated when you're not there. It's only stated when they want to push their fucking bullshit perspective of we're all speaking for humanity. No, you're not. Every single one of these fucking people on your panel right now is boiling over with caucasity, and they can't wait to fucking spill it onto that platform so the world can hear their nonsense. That's the only way they can speak for humanity. Is to sell bullshit ass statements like that people have been believing and regurgitating for forever. This bullshit of, well, if you look in history books, then you'll see that the worst things that were done against humanity were done with the best of intentions. Get the fuck out of here. Here they are talking about restricting speech, restricting access. Is this not what these assholes are doing on their platforms when they do not include your perspective? 9/10 of the people of the world do not have their voice spoken on these platforms. That is a restriction of speech. This is how they separate themselves from the other groups, the big group that they're saying that they're not a part of. See, they restrict speech with software and social media platforms and the mainstream media. We just restrict speech with just ignoring your issues, with just not acknowledging that you have a perspective to be shared to the world. You don't speak for humanity. We speak for humanity. Look at the numbers that we have behind us. That's what confirms that we speak for humanity. They're just restricting and controlling to another demographic of people, of thought. because they're speaking to levels of critical thought. People are growing into a level of critical thought as they grow out of this system. This is the evolution, the enlightenment, the awakening, all this bullshit that people are talking about, whatever name they put on it, whatever you want to call it. The point is, there was a time and place for a system that was going to affect people on a large scale, and it had a deadline. There's an endpoint. Just like anything, there's an endpoint. It's not going to last forever. These individuals know that there's an endpoint. So they create these communities, they create these talking points, they create these echo chambers to catch people as they're evolving into something else. It doesn't matter what they're evolving into, because people, especially people on a mass scale, they evolve, they move into whatever the system tells them to move into. They can't think for themselves, they can't choose for themselves, they can't do anything for themselves. Everything has to be packaged for them. So, since that was the intention of the system, it wasn't just to trick people, it was to get control of people through tricking them. Now they have control of the people. They don't have to trick them anymore. So now they have control of the people. Now you can just put them in their cubbyhole, put them in their little comfort zone that you're controlling the same way George Soros did with Black Lives Matter. They put George Soros behind Black Lives Matter to control the majority of so-called black people, to water down that movement, to muddy it out so nothing actually comes of it. Because they know the people in that community are not equipped to think for themselves. And if they think about anything, they're going to think about talking points that they want them to think about, which is the reason why they put all the slave movies and civil rights movies in your face, in Hollywood, on the news, and they put all that shit out there for you to follow, because they want you to stay within that bubble of consciousness, because it's controllable. And it's an illusion. It's bullshit. And it's powerless. Ultimately, that's why. Because it's powerless. And it'll just die out. Invest all of your energy, because when people get into something and then that thing that they've invested into just dies out, there's no better way in the world to suck the life out of people than to have something like that. Because people already don't move. They already don't speak. They already don't stand up. They are already cowardice. They're cowardly. There's no courage out there. So when people actually get the courage to stand up and be a part of something, a group, anything, and then it crumbles, there's not many people who are going to recover from that and keep moving. Because now they already don't do that. And the one time they do it, it fails. The system knows that they have a fair majority of those people who are following those communities are going to respond that way. Where are all of your Black Lives Matter movement leaders right now? Where are all the people who were speaking up so loudly on social media and holding signs on the street? Where are all of them now? I saw this firsthand in the Occupy movement. Not to go into too deep into it and the details in that, but I was on the streets on day one when there was hardly any fucking buddy there. You basically had people in New York and San Francisco and a few select other cities here and there on day one. I was in San Francisco. There wasn't more than 100 people there. I had my speaker, I had my microphone, I had everything that I printed out. I was standing out there on my own little soapbox, yelling at Bank of America. I was there. And those people are gone now. The movement, taken out. These movements are there, like I've said in previous videos, they're out there to release the pressure of the minds of the people. Let them get all of this shit off their chests. So it has the illusion of evolution, evolving of the consciousness, moving, things getting better. It's bullshit. And it's all for control. Because as soon as they start talking about whatever it is, because the norm is to not speak on anything. They would just rather have you convinced, like in the 90s, totally covered with toys and games and drugs and bullshit, not thinking about anything. But if you do speak on something, they will take that, shrink it down, package it up, and sell it back to you in a certain way, and it will evolve whatever it is. The way they packaged it is designed to evolve their storylines because they have a list of movements, of ways that they could go. They have 100 different things that they could choose to move from this point. And every single one of those points is going to move in a direction that they can manipulate for their own good. And since some movement's happening and people don't see that perspective, they think things are changing for the better. These are the same perspectives that these people like Elon Musk, Alex Jones, and Andrew Tate have. They see any kind of movement. They see the neo-Republican movement, and they think that things are getting better. They see people talking about masculinity, and they think things are getting better. Masculinity for their bullshit-ass perspective. They see Elon Musk supposedly going against the establishment on these big issues, and they think things are getting better. That's why they have them out there. They want you to think that. So they'll have representatives out there who think that for you. You finish the video, go on about your day, and you think things are getting better.
Elon Musk is promoting an optimistic, pro-human future that the science and evidence shows is real and that we need.
I'm super pro-human, like for Team Humanity here, and I just think we want to make sure that people have a positive view of the future.
They do not represent us. They do not represent humanity. They do not represent anything other than themselves. Period. End of fucking discussion. These pieces of shit represent nothing but themselves. And if you want to get into it, the way they are controlled and who they work for, they represent those groups more than they represent humanity. So here they are talking about being silenced by the establishment when they themselves are very obviously guilty of silencing perspectives from our community. At this point, it is a conscious decision to not speak to our people, to not acknowledge our perspectives. There is enough social media out there. There are people on Elon Musk's platform right now who have been deplatformed for speaking on the perspectives that they are speaking from our communities. They will not acknowledge this because it is a threat to their demographic. It's a threat to their mindset, their bubble, their echo chamber. If people start thinking from the perspectives that we bring to the table, it will cut their relevance out of the discussion because they will be seen as no different than the establishment that they claim to be against.
There is a 3-letter agency running this. Not all of them, but let's just say it starts with a C and it ends with an A. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's liberal NGOs which will sponsor agents of the Matrix. They'll sponsor females to end up in a house party and then lie to try and then put you in a Romanian jail cell and get you sitting with the cockroaches in a dungeon. And it's a very scary world where you get to a point where you're only trying to tell the truth, and they're going to punish you for that using endless lawfare. But the Matrix has truly cracked now, and it's going to be extremely hard to lie to us like they did before with X, the way it currently is. And I think it came at exactly the right time.
I'm super pro-human, like for Team Humanity here, and
super pro-human. What the fuck is super pro-human? So against those who are for depopulation, but for those for sustainable energy. As if sustainable energy is not one of the main talking points of the New World Order. And it's pretty suspect for Alex Jones to sit there and let him say that and not call him on that. But you know they're not gonna hold themselves accountable. He's not gonna call out Elon Musk on something like that. You're going to sit there and kiss his ass all day. Even if it goes against the perspectives that he's saying. Even if it contradicts where he's coming from. This is how they stick together. This is how they will do that. They will accept all of that before they listen to the perspectives from your community. They will push the agenda of that new world order through people like Elon Musk with this idea of being super pro humanity.
You know, I'm super pro-human, like for Team Humanity here,
And for sustainable energy. I've done the most for sustainable energy than anybody in the whole world.
I'm very pro-environment. Obviously,
Bye, Andrew.
I might have done more. You know, I might have done more, you know, for sustainable energy than maybe any single human. So I would consider myself an environmentalist, but I also believe in physics and reality, and not sort of being alarmist about things.
I'm an environmentalist, but I do believe in things like physics and reality. That is a statement to reinforce the cosmology. That's what he means by reality. He means what people like Neil deGrasse Tyson call hard science. That's what they mean by reality. This is why it's so important to bring the cosmology discussion into this discussion, because they claim reality through science, through heliocentrism. And if you do not follow them in that belief system, this is what Elon Musk represents. He is the enforcer for reality. And if you have the audacity to speak against Elon Musk and his science and all of his sustainable work that he's done in environmentalism and being super pro humanity, you speak against him, you're speaking against science. You're speaking against reality.
But I also believe in physics and reality, and
Anything that you have to say is invalid.
So we're in a very pivotal period now where the bravery that's required to resist the globalist oppression has to happen now. Soon the
I
technology
absolutely-
will exist, and it's
I am
over for everybody.
We are at critical crossroads right now in the entire future of the human destiny. And I called it Plan B, but I mean, Elon, what do you call it? Just an alternate plan for humanity? Because we should have a debate, because the Black Rocks and the globalists are right now in control. If they were 100% control, you and others have felt rested to maybe they're in 80% control. They're losing control very quickly as people discover what they're doing. But what would you call the debate and discussion about a pro-human future? Just Team Humanity?
yeah, Team Humanity, absolutely. That sounds good.
We're talking about reality here, mister. Here they are just kissing each other's asses before everybody leaves. Oh, you do such great work. You speaking to 16-year-olds and telling them to lift weights and get a fast car and be more masculine. You're doing such great work for humanity, Andrew. Now go drive your Ferrari. What the fuck is wrong with these people? That's it. That's what they want you to think. That's their martyr program. He went down. He went to prison. He represents us. He's the real deal.
The only thing you own is your soul and your integrity. And this is the one thing they cannot take away from you, no matter what they do to you. And that is the best feeling on earth. It doesn't matter if you can sell your soul to the devil and repeat what they want you to say, but then you truly own nothing. And
Yeah,
I think
I
that as history books look back on this pivotal moment when X was finally freed and the information of the world could finally be spoken freely, I really do believe we're on the right side of history. And if you were to ask me if there's anything worth dying for, it would be for the freedom of humanity and to be on the right side of history.
It's all bullshit. They're all on the same team. They all have the same talking points. And they all have the same intention. Is to keep you, your community, and your perspectives out of the discussion. Co-opt the human movement. Generate a human movement. Reinstitute this new definition of masculine and feminine. Because the old world that's crumbling with neoliberalism, they clearly do not know anything about masculinity. And they're trying to feminize everything, which is true. But like I said, those extremes out there, the LGBT extremes, putting strippers in your elementary school, trans strippers dancing on stripper poles in sixth grader classrooms. They put those extremes out there because anything that falls underneath and holds their line against that bullshit, that extreme bullshit, it creates another community. Because it's easy to go against that group. Who the fuck is going to accept or be cool with having transvestite strippers in an elementary school, other than people who are completely sick in the fucking head? So leave those people who are sick over there. We're the ones over here. We're the new Republicans. We represent masculinity, Ferraris, going against depopulation. But we also want to push sustainable energy and the fossil fuel industry forward, even though all those people who control everything else in the world also control those corporations. We're not going to talk about that. When they don't have anything to say, they put the loudest people on the microphone, because then they can just filibuster the entire discussion, because they're okay with that. As long as you don't get your perspectives out there, as long as your community doesn't have a place to stand on that discussion board, that's the only thing that matters. Because it's not about them winning. They're going to win anyway, because they're a part of the group that controls the narrative, controls the dialogue. They're going to paint themselves to win. And if they don't win, then they're going to adjust their goals to make it look like they're winning, and to just be okay with what happened in the war. But the point is, if you lose, they win. So they don't have to win. You just have to lose. And as long as they keep getting together and speaking the way they're speaking, as they do in these podcasts, that pawns off the illusion of them winning. This is why Andrew Tate says, we're in control of humanity, without even including you in that we.
I still believe that we run the world. There's a lot more of us than them. We still control the world. It's just down to what we will accept and what will allow them to do to us.
Taking the masculine approach of having already won the battle is nonsense.
Because the globalists are controlled right now. You're trying to wrest control with us, helping. I mean, when are you going to put out your battle plan, or are you already putting it out in pieces?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that actually, I think we should expand humanity. Like, basically, we should have basically more kids. You know, population should increase, and we should become a multi-planet species, and you know, make life multi-planetary, build a self-sustaining civilization on Mars, and then ultimately, you know, this will be long after I'm dead, probably, but well, almost certainly, we can go to other star systems and go out there and, I don't know, maybe we'll find some long dead alien civilizations. And I don't think we want to be one of those lame one planet civilizations that never got beyond, you know, its own planet. I mean, we gotta, you know, what the aliens gonna think of that? It's like we gotta make a good showing.
By Tesla. Yes. I love